As we go through the reports, I'm going to start by showing you the test results. So get here by clicking on reports, and then whether you click on that side or you click on the little eye, it doesn't matter, it takes you to the same place. Now the first thing you need to do, and this one's really easy to forget, make sure you're in the right year. And I want my current students, not my year-to-date students. And then this is where you select which assessment you're looking at. Go through, I want a science assessment, I want all that. That's what I want. Now it gives me a little bit of information right here at the top. Some of it's sort of useful, like the average score. Notice that these kids did terrible because they're sample students. Now you can filter it out by period. You can filter it out by, you won't have as many options here. I think you just have period. You can also filter it by student groups. For example, if you set up a group, you could either look only at them or you could knock them out. Or there's a few set up already. Say that you want to only look at your special education kids to see if they've done well in this assessment. Then you can select, as I just showed you, and go back to all of them. So that's kind of handy. I'm going to clear all my filters, make sure nothing's in place, and then get rid of that, filter by students. Now here in the reports, you start out by seeing, well, you start by seeing the stuff I just showed you. And then as you scroll down, you could see this kind of neat little box thing. It gives you the average score and the percent correct. So like I said, my sample students, they just didn't do very well. You can see how many are below the standard. This is the template that we set up as the second to last step of the test. This is where you can see that. If you need a different kind of template, remember I can make that for you, or you can create it yourself. I'm going to show you a little more about that in a minute. This is kind of nice. If you show the chart, you could see how your students did. See, these students just did terrible. That's what they get for being sample students. Now, if you keep going down, you can see the same kind of information. Again, this is where that template helps, so that you could see at a glance how your students are doing. You can change the colors. You also have this handy bar graph where you can see how they are. Now this lets you do a few kind of cool things. Let's say that I don't want to see all my students. I only want to see the ones that were struggling. I can turn these students off. Now I just see the ones that weren't doing so well. And I can even select them, or I could select them individually and create a group of them to a new group. Or I can add them to a group that already exists. I can have as many groups as I want. That's going to open it up so I have more things that I'm capable of doing in the future. I can do all kinds of neat things with them now. I'll show those to you another day though. For now, let's turn everybody back on. Now there's one hidden thing it's a hidden thing and it's hidden within this report, and it's called the student history report. And that's hidden if you click on any student's name. So here's the last name and here's the first name. It will pull open their full history. You can change it. You can sort it only by certain standards. You could sort it by certain dates or only in your subject. But on this report, you can see how the student is doing overall. Now, are they just struggling on my assessments, or are they struggling on all their assessments? You can add it out. This has two standards. I want to see which standards the student is doing poorly in. So you can drill it down to that kind of level. You can also, of course, see the different standards that they have, the different classes that they've done well in. Oops. So that's well worth playing around in. So here I've done it just by the standards, so I can see which standards are which. Now when you're done in the student history, you click the close button right there, and it brings you back to this window.